really? I just started recording. And she's like, she's going to record. Like, are you serious?
Outtakes, outtakes.
Yeah. Take one. All right. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Chronicles Abroad. I'm Francis.
I'm Nubia.
And of course, yes, we always have an outstanding show for you guys. We are sitting with Bernadette, Anat, Berna. I don't know why I'm stuttering right now.
Cut.
All right.
Redo.
Seriously. All right. Hello, beautiful people. What the fluff?
That's because God don't like you talking to his child like that.
Whose child?
Me.
Girl, bye. All right, let's do it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Chronicles Abroad. I'm Francis.
I'm Nubia.
And we are chatting with Bernadette Anat. Berna, say hello.
Hi,
How do you go
everybody.
from Bernadette to Berna?
Because she goes by Berna.
Do you go by Berna or Bernadette?
Berna, usually.
Yeah.
So you said Bernadette, Annette, and then how are you doing Berna? Why don't you just introduce it
That's
as
fine.
Berna?
It sort of explains the Berna. People are always like, what?
We're
Berna.
keeping this. We're keeping
I mean,
this
we
in
can-
there anyway. Your laptop's like your phone. It's like going out.
It's because it's on the...
Oh, anyway.
All right. Hey,
Hey.
Berna, how are you?
So good. How are you folks?
Fabulous. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Of
We're like
course.
super excited to talk to you because your story is actually pretty freaking cool.
I'm
Thank
excited
you.
to talk to you because you're funny as shit.
Yeah, you are funny.
Girl. You are
I have
hilarious.
to like really set it up. I gotta pull it out. It's 9 a.m. in Singapore, and I gotta like, I gotta
Girl.
prove this stuff. No pressure, it's fine.
The bar has been raised, Berna. Don't disappoint us, okay?
We want to see some of that exuberant energy that you just have, girl. You are dope.
Yeah.
So, yes. So let's get started.
Yeah, so Bernadette, Berna, as she likes to be called, paid off $50,000 in loans, saved up a year's worth of funds to travel the world with her and her fiance, right? So,
Boyfriend.
I'm sorry. I thought I saw a video that said you were engaged or something, but I don't know.
Oh no, I was pretending to be. Oh, we're like, we have a big announcement, and we're not engaged, and we're not pregnant, so everybody was confused.
Okay.
So like, what could you possibly be announcing then? It's like, there's more
We're
things
leaving.
a couple can do in the world
That's
than get
true.
engaged or get pregnant. So I was just
That's
saying
true.
after that stuff.
We agree with that.
Mhm. Specifically, like, we're not getting engaged because I want to travel the world with you first and see what's up.
I love it.
It's a good gauge of a person, I think.
That's smart.
I like that. So I don't even know where to be. There's so many angles, but like, let's start with how did you make the decision? Because you had said when you had met your boyfriend, you guys were like, okay, we both into travel. How can we make this happen? So can you just take us back how that all got started?
Yes. So Peter, my boyfriend, and I met a little over 2 years ago, and we both had traveled before. He was in the Peace Corps. I had studied abroad and traveled a lot for work. And we had both expressed a desire to travel a lot more before the quote unquote settling down period. It was one of those relationships where it's like we met each other and we're like, okay, this gets really serious really fast. Let's make life decisions together. Yay. And so he was just like, I really would want to just travel a lot indefinitely before I settle down anywhere. And I was like, me too. And he was like, I have a bunch of student loans. And I was like, me too. And we're like, do you think we can get rid of them before we do this whole travel around the world thing? And at first we're like, that would be funny and cute. Let's just do the numbers in a funny and cute way to see if we could like do this funny and cute thing. And then we realized once he calculated what he got monthly, what I calculated what I got monthly, and we sort of worked backwards to see like, okay, if we paid off our student loans in 6 months, in 8 months, in a year, what would that look like for our budgets? And then we settled on a timeline of about, I think, 12 or 13 months from that point, we would be able to pay off all of our student loans if we stuck to a very strict budget. We were like, oh, snap, I think we can do this. It was such a crazy moment where we're like, ha ha ha, oh shit, this is a reality.
So let me get this straight. So you guys did this like within the first 8 months of your relationship?
Oh yeah. I think I want to say it was in the first like 6 or 7 months. It was, I don't even know. It was one of those things where like we meet each other and we're like, well, even if, and I was thinking in the back of my head, like, even if my life capital L doesn't work out with this person, we're both doing something amazing with each other and for each other. You know,
I
like
love it.
sitting down and calculating how to get rid of our student loans and how to do this amazing thing in our lives. So I figured, you know, there's nothing to lose there. And we just so happened to look at our financial situation and the sacrifices we can make and go, oh my gosh, we could do this. And it would actually be really fun to do it together. So let's just try it. We have
And
nothing
that's
to
the
lose.
hardest part, though, is the financials. A lot of people don't want to, you know, give their salary information or talk about money. Nevertheless, a year or two in their relationship.
Right.
They usually don't even do that until it's ready to move in together or something of that
Or
sort.
sometimes they get married and it's like they got money problems, right? They're not
Yes.
dancing no more. They got no skin. Cardi B.
Oh my,
Anyway,
exactly.
yeah. So that's cool that you guys did that.
And
Yes,
look what
absolutely.
happened. You're debt free.
We're debt free. I mean, that would have been my worst nightmare. Like you just said, I was. Oh, let's do a dance real quick. Debt-free dance. I was just DMing with a friend who was like, "Girl, I just got debt free. I paid off like $150,000 in student loans." I was like, "I wish I could throw you a party because I mean, not to sound salty, but we're always out here throwing each other engagement parties, pregnant like baby parties, other thing parties." Which are amazing and beautiful, but we should really be celebrating when each other gets debt free. It's a huge accomplishment.
Seriously.
It's
That's
like
a huge accomplishment.
there. Exactly. And it takes so much work, years of work. So yeah, we definitely did a lot of celebrating and a lot of dancing when it
But
happened.
you guys did it in a short amount of time.
We did it pretty short. Yeah, I think it took about 10 or I want to say 10 to 12 months from when we decided to do it, which it felt long at the time, but then when we finally did it, we're like, it felt like a blink. You know, we just had to really be sacrificial and sort of one track minded for about a year. But we knew why we were doing it, and it was fun to talk about why we were doing it. So anytime somebody was like, let's go to the club, or like Vegas this weekend, or let's all go to Cabo San Lucas on this like ridiculous whatever, I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, anytime somebody was like, let's make this crazy financially ridiculous decision, we're like, no, you see, we are preserving ourselves, one, for our student loans, and two, so we can do this for a year and not just for, 3 days out of the year.
Love it. And
Can
look at
dig
you.
it.
Now you're like in Singapore. You were in New Zealand. You were in Bali and all this stuff. So it pays off to just put your nose down to the grind and just focus.
It really, really does. And the nice thing was we had a lot of supportive family and friends. Once we were sort of describing to people we're wanting to pay off our debt, we're wanting to travel the world, people backed off on us, on asking us to go on all these trips or making us feel bad because we didn't want to go out for a night or we didn't want to go camping all weekend and spend a ton of money. But I mean, thank goodness for our family and friends who are super supportive as well.
That's what's up.
That's awesome.
So, you guys finally see that 000, right?
Yeah,
Then you're like-
it was so delicious.
And I saw that video too. That was, I was like, oh man, I
It
loved
was
it.
so good. It was
That's what's
probably one of the most emotional things we filmed because
I
it was
bet.
the culmination of all that work. So yeah, that was a blast.
So you're sitting there, you're like, we're done. Cut the cord. What's next? And you're like, okay, now let's do this travel thing. Why New Zealand?
As the first stop,
great question. Yes, New Zealand was our first stop. We were in New Zealand for 3 months, but before that, we both just looked at each other like, where have you not been? Sort of. Oh, he had done, again, like I said, he did Peace Corps and I traveled a lot for work. We both had never been to New Zealand, and we had heard so much from different friends who had backpacked through New Zealand, who car camped through New Zealand, that it's just a great jumping off point for long-term travel or travel that lasts more than 1 or 2 weeks. And so we just went for it. I mean, it was really this feeling of like, I don't know, let's just buy a ticket and land and figure it out. And it was one-way ticket. We had no plans on when we were leaving or what exactly we'd be doing while we were there. We just sort of went for it, and we wanted to keep that spirit of like, we'll see.
I love it.
Specifically because, we are not married, we have no kids, we have no mortgage, we have no debt. There will not be another time in our lives that we can make decisions like this. And so
Exactly.
moving forward, it's going to need to be a lot more calculated because of adult responsibilities. So we're like, you know what? Let's just keep it loose simply because we can keep it loose. And we planned a little bit. We did some farming work. We did some volunteer while we were out there. But we mostly, I mean, the entire 3 months we were there, we were just like, I don't know, what do you want to do today? I don't know, what do you want to do next week? It was a really cool feeling of freedom.
So is that the first time that you found yourself being or feeling that free? Because often, folks are very like, I have this plan, and then A plus B equals C,
Yeah.
and now you're like, what is C and what is A? What is B? Like, how did that feel for you?
It was, what is math? What, who am I, and what is this? Honestly, it gave me a lot of anxiety at first, because I'm the kind of person that really likes structure and really likes plans. And I had just gotten into going to therapy right before we went traveling, which I highly recommend if anyone's ever considering it. It was so wonderful. But my therapist was like, there are people who just need a backpack to travel, and there are people who need a map. And Berna, you're the kind of person that's like desperate for a map at all times. You always are trying to draw the map. You're trying to look at the map and recheck the map. And she was like, your biggest challenge on this trip is to not have a map, and to let go of the concept of a map, and to just know that, like, I have in my backpack, I have in my brain, in my soul, what I need to survive. I have a great partner, and to just trust that. So initially that came with a lot of anxiety on my part.
Yeah,
and
sure.
in the first couple of months, poor Peter had to endure me always being like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Why? What does it mean? And then what about after that? What about 10 days after that? And that actually, the only reason that stopped is because it just got so tiring. I tired myself out being like, plan, 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 plan. And when I saw the trip sort of unfold, all the best things that happened were the mostly unplanned things. So traveling for me has been like a peeling off the layers process, like an unlearning what I thought made me great, or unlearning what I thought were things that are unchangeable in me. Like, I'm a planner, I'm a mapper, I like to do this, and there's no other way to do it. Traveling has just sort of hit me upside the head, being like, that is not the only way to live. Not only that, but like, if you lean too hard into that, you're going to hurt yourself. So you need to expand your horizon.
So let me just ask you this one question. It goes back to New Zealand, right? So you pay off this debt. Most people would look at the most inexpensive place to go. You guys decided to go to one of the most expensive places to go, even though you were debt free. So how did you make that decision? Because typically, like I said, most people are like, where can I go to stretch my money the farthest?
Yep, absolutely. And most people head to Southeast Asia, which is where we are now. The reason we're in Southeast Asia is because we learned our lesson from New Zealand. So we decided on New Zealand, being like, fun and fancy free, seems cool, mountains, glaciers, let's do it. And we also decided on New Zealand because the woofing community is so intense there. So woofing is, it stands for Willing Workers on Organic Farms.
Yep. And
it's a program that anybody can sign up for to literally volunteer on farms, on vineyards, and you work in exchange for room and board. And so we figured, let's just woof all over New Zealand because it cuts the cost so much. We did do that, and we also mixed it with a good amount of regular tourism, and that's when it got really expensive. So we didn't woof and volunteer as much as we wanted to. But if we were really dedicated to it, we could have woofed the entire time. People can and do woof for like 6 months, a year, years out there, and not spend a ton of money. But I mean, it took me a while to sort of shake off the vacationer, because the vacationer in me still wanted to be like, let's pay $400 to do a heli hike up a glacier, and then let's pay $300 to go blackwater rafting. Found out immediately that is unsustainable, which is why we are in Southeast Asia right now.
But you're also in one of the most expensive parts of Southeast Asia.
I mean, am I making the right decision?
I think you guys
I gotta question your judgment here, Berna. I don't know what's going on, okay? Because this is a good segue into Felicia's wallet. Tell us a little bit about that, because the videos are super helpful, and they're like super entertaining as well.
Hilarious.
So,
thank you. Yes, of course. So Felicia's wallet is what I started to even go on this whole trip and to pay off my debt. So Felicia's wallet is this, I call it a financial journal. It's basically this Google Doc that I started to keep track of every dollar that I spend every time I got a paycheck. And it turned into the sort of budget system that I started sharing with people through YouTube and a little bit through Instagram. I called it Felicia's wallet because the Buy Felicia thing was still happening at the time. And I saw this meme that was like, I saw this meme that was like, I want to live Felicia's life. We're always saying goodbye to her. She must be always going somewhere interesting. And I was like, if she's always going somewhere interesting, I want Felicia's wallet. Like, what's her money look like? I don't know. So I'm just going to name it Felicia's Wallet.
I love it.
And money management to me before I started Felicia's Wallet was like spreadsheets and like really dry, just tables and math to follow, and I hated that. I was definitely not, I am still not a numbers person at all. So I started journaling because I love words, and I've journaled my entire life. So every time I got a paycheck, I journaled out the numbers, and I journaled my feelings about the numbers and what I want to do with it, and it ended up really, really helping me. And so I figured these are things that I could really share with people. So I started making YouTube videos about how I built Felicia's Wallet, how to budget, how I started to get rid of debt, how I started to buy free flights using credit card points. And it's very early days right now. I only have like 4 or 5 videos up, but it's been received really well by the people who've seen it. And I think the most encouraging thing too is I'm finding that my audience is overwhelmingly women of color. Women of color are just coming in droves and commenting and liking and asking for more information. And so to me, I feel new to the sort of personal finance game, but I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all us. It's all brown people out here. Like, wow, we need to give each other this information and empower each other because we're obviously hungry for it. So I've just been building off of that and doing that as much as I can while I travel.
Yeah, I mean, it's great because, people of color are not known to have the information as their counterparts growing up. That financial education, understanding the loans, understanding budgeting and all that stuff. So I'm not surprised that they are coming to you in droves.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. I think one of the reasons I became so passionate about Felicia's Wallet is because I realized I'm teaching myself all the things that I never got to learn growing up as a child of, first generation immigrants. There's a lot that my family had to do just to sacrifice and get the bare bones, meaning they didn't get to teach me about saving. They didn't get to teach me about how a credit card works or credit card points or credit card scores. They didn't get to teach me about loans. And so I had to, and a lot of my peers have to learn that ourselves. And so the more that we can share that information, because my story is the same as millions of other young people out there. So the more that we can share that information and empower each other and sort of fill in the gaps from what we didn't learn, the more powerful we can all be. I mean, money is an incredibly powerful thing, as we know.
Exactly. So outside of Felicia's Wallet, you have so many other little things going on, right? So I'm on your website, I'm checking out your blog posts, and one totally resonated with me the most. How to prioritize your life, your MF life.
That was a good one.
I know it. Yes.
That was dope. And then you mentioned the Warren Buffett's 525. Can you break that down a little bit for our listeners?
I love this. Go for it.
Yes, absolutely. So I learned about Warren Buffett's 525 rule through my co-host. I produce a podcast called Ticket2Blog with a woman named Gemma Patterson, who's a blogger, and she told me about Warren Buffett's 525 rule, which is if you are sort of like lost in terms of priorities, you don't know what's important to you, or you're having a sort of hazy time thinking of what to focus on, sit down and list out the 25 things that are the most important to you. Just list and list and list. If you go past 25, great. I would give yourself like a solid 10 minutes, just list out all the things. Get to 25, and then start crossing things out. Get to 20, cross more things out. Get to 10, cross things out until you get to 5. The 5 absolute most important things to you. And I mean, the way it was taught to me, it was like, keep the 5 in your palm. Remind yourself of the 5 all the time. Everything else, completely ignore it. Or promise yourself you won't try to add anything to the 5 until you take care of the 5 first. Which is an extremely hard thing to do because, I mean, for people like me, like I said, people who want the map all the time, you're passionate about a million things, and you want to touch a million things, and you want to get involved in a million things. But the fact of the matter is there are only so many hours in a day, and there's only so much energy, like, in your body. So focusing on the top 5 things that come to you really, really narrows down, for me, where I want to spend my money, narrows down how I want to spend my time, and narrows down what bothers me, too. When I think about something that irritates me in the day, sometimes I'll be like, is it in my top 5? Okay, no, I'm just cranky. I'm just hungry. I'm just thirsty. That really doesn't bother me. I just dehydrated is what it is. Yeah. So it's just an awesome way to sort of narrow down what's important to you, not just to hold that up, but to be able to like keep your sanity and keep your brain free. Yeah.
I love that because it's a reminder. And I was like, when I started my journey of traveling abroad, I realized I'm like, wait, I'm kind of doing the same thing I was doing in the States. Wait, let's rewind and go back to what it really was that I came out here to do. And all my decisions need to be based off of those things. And I had that aha moment like a couple weeks ago, like, oh my goodness, I like totally veered off what I wanted to do. Now I need to like refocus. So it is important because that is your compass. That's where all your decisions are governed. So I think that's a great process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we travel, it's really easy, at least if you decide to go into long-term travel for the first time, it takes a while to understand what the heck you're doing. Like, it takes a while to get your bearings and your legs under you to even go like, oh, I'm not going home after a couple of weeks, and to go, oh, that's where my toothbrush is, and that's where you get toilet paper, and that's how I take out money, and this is the currency exchange. And I've realized talking to other travelers that sort of getting used to it period varies so much. It could be a couple of weeks, it could be a few months. For us, it was like solid 4 or 5 months. And so I think we have to also remember to be nice to ourselves when it comes to getting used to things like that, and have no shame in the fact that it took us months to be like, hold up. What did we just spend our money on? That was dumb.
Yeah, girl. That's an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, like, man, why'd I do that?
And you said it best when you said long-term travel is 1,000 decision fights between what you should do, what you want to do, all day, every day.
Oh my God, it's totally that, and it's what you want to do, and then what 1,000 people are telling you to do. I mean, when you travel, people get very excited for you, and like friends and family want to give you all kinds of opinions. People have been to Thailand, people have been to New Zealand, and so everyone's drawing up all these lists of things that you should do. And then you're meeting other travelers, and they're like, "Oh my God, I dropped $600 on this helicopter hike in the the Franz Josef Glacier, but it was the best thing I've ever done, and I would do it 4 more times." And so you feel so much pressure to like make the best of your time.
Yeah.
When, like you're saying, it's really about like, hold on, what do I want to do? What do I want to get out of this? I'm the one going to bed at night with my thoughts and my memories. Like, how do I make me happy, as opposed to like make the gram happy or make my family happy, or how do I focus on myself? Which is it sounds very selfish, but you need that kind of like, cleansing moment, or else you're just going to be out here spending money on every possible thing someone yells at you about.
Yeah, it's not selfish. It's just you come first, because from there everything else is taken care of.
Yes, total agreement. That's a little hard to get used to too, but
yeah.
For sure.
Self-care is so important when you're traveling. Self-care is queen, really. Like I'm realizing that if you don't take care of yourself, you could burn through weeks and weeks of traveling and never feel like you're anywhere, never feel like anything touched you, because you're just like burnt out. Traveler burnout is such a real thing. I'm sure you guys know.
Well, yeah, and everybody's definition of what it means for self-care is 2 different things, right? When I was in the States, self-care to me was like, get your nails and toes done and stuff like that. Now in Thailand, I'm like, I need a full body massage. I need, you get what I'm saying? It's a whole different
center.
Yeah, yes. I need to go to the flotation device and go float. I need to go,
dip myself in mud.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir.
Yes.
Meditate, all types of different stuff for self-care.
Rub flowers in my temples and all that.
But it's more of a mental self-care instead of a physical self-care. Yep. And they are 2 different things. And yes, the physical can help enhance the mental, but there's nothing like tapping into the mental self-care.
Yeah, all that spiritual stuff matters.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we just spent a month in Bali. I mean, it was just pouring this spiritual stuff over our heads for a month in Ubud. And it's funny because when I got there, I was like, okay with the spiritual stuff. All right. Like, it's all Westerners coming in here like, namaste. But I'm like, you're from Philly. Stop it. You're from Boston. Don't do that to me right now.
Don't play me right now.
Don't play me. Like, you went to college with my friends. Stop.
With your beads.
And,
and your faux locks.
And crystals. Do you even know what kind of crystal that is?
Well, exactly. What are you doing? Do you even know what you're chanting? Spell that word. You don't know. But it also took me a while to realize that like everybody's journey to self-care is different, and everybody's sort of way to define what is good for them is different as well. I was talking about this with my partner, that sometimes it's hard for me to stop being judgmental when I see other people on their traveling journey and their self-care journey, like especially being in Bali. I mean, it's like we were just saying, it's so hard not to roll my eyes when I like pass by women who are like, I have this shadow in my soul, and I have to like microcosm I eat flowers every Wednesday. I'm like,
It's okay, girl. We're in Pi right now.
Yeah.
Pi,
Pie's super
Thailand.
hippie.
And if anybody
it's
has been to
super
Pi, so this morning we're talking about, you know, the millennials that are out here just walking around Pi barefoot, you know,
Doing the earthling thing, you know?
Hair's getting all naughty, and they're trying to build this whole, and they got beads dripping from
They
them.
got the dreadlocks. I'm just like,
And Francis is like, isn't that funny how they're trying to go back to like how our ancestors lived, like, you know, walking the earth? And I was like, but our ancestors actually walked on earth, right? Like actual physical dirt. They're walking on bullshit, like concrete and people like shit on and stuff. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Put some shoes on and come on, y'all.
yes.
it's actually super chill here, though, a little
It's
bit.
very
It's
chill.
chill. It's really, it's a different vibe than Ubud. Very different
Hi.
vibe. But yeah, but it's super chill, but it's very hippie.
It's very
town.
Woodstocky.
Yeah, there we go. Woodstock.
Woodstocky.
There we go.
Yes. Well, see, that's the kind of thing where, like, it's so easy for me to walk around somewhere like Ubud or probably like Pi, and the first voice that comes out of my head is like, ugh, y'all, stop it. You stop it. You stop it. You stop it. Like,
That's what I mean. We were just doing that
in
today.
suburban Chicago. Like, stop. Right? Yeah, but it's also like, it took me a while in Ubud to go like, you know what? These people are on their self-care journey. If these people are taking care of themselves and they are finding what they need to find in a place like Ubud or Pi, and honestly, they're like not back home terrorizing people, and they're not back home hurting themselves, and they're not back home acting out in a way that they wouldn't find the healing here, then like, do your work your way.
Do you?
Do you, boo?
Do you?
You. And it's also like, why do, like, it's a mirror back on myself, right? It's like, why am I so judgmental? What do I have to work for? Like, dang, maybe I should go to yoga. Maybe I should get some beats.
Maybe you should be namasteing all day long.
There's some namaste needing to happen for me. Dang, okay.
Yeah, for sure. So we talked about your road to being debt-free. We talked about Felicia's wallet, your journey to New Zealand, and your website blog. Now let's get into your podcast. You started a podcast recently called, what is it? Ticket2Blog.
Number 2.
Yes.
2.
Thank you. Number 2.
With Gemma Patterson, who is absolutely amazing, by the way.
She is awesome.
Can you tell our listeners, how did you fall into this podcast game?
Oh my gosh. I think the way that I fell into this podcast is just a shining testimonial to shoot your shot. Like, just send the cold email, get in the DMs, like, call the person's secretary. Just shoot your shot if you admire somebody or if you are dreaming of an opportunity and you're like, there's no way for me to get there, so I'm just going to throw this Hail Mary. Gemma Patterson, who's now my co-host, I just followed her travel blog for the longest time, which is called Half the Clothes. I loved her super honest, very sort of bare bones advice. And as I was preparing for this round the world trip, I found one of her articles that I really loved. And I was just like, it would just be so cool to be friends with her before I went on this trip. So I just emailed her and was like, you know what? I just want to tell you thank you so much for your honest voice on this. Here are all the reasons I love this article. I'm going to be keeping your voice like in my backpack as I go on this trip. Miraculously, she emailed me back. We started getting into a conversation about what it's like to travel long term for the first time. And she was the one who was like, hey, you know, more people should be listening to a conversation like this because there's a lot more of you out there who are starting to travel or want to learn how to travel a long time and document it. Why don't we just turn this into a podcast? And of course, I was like, on the surface, I was like, that's cool. I could totally like do a podcast with you. Like, that's chill. So chill. But on the inside, I was like, oh my God. My travel guru love like wants to do a podcast, and he's absolutely freaking out. / like hardcore imposter syndrome came in to the left, being like, ha ha ha, you're not worth this. What are you doing a podcast with a huge blogger? But both of those things battled it out. Eventually, we were like, let's just do this. Neither of us knew what the hell we were doing. We didn't know how to start a podcast or what the first step would even be. So thankfully, she started this 28-day podcast challenge, which I believe, is that how Chronicles of Brad started as well?
No, it's
just kidding.
Yeah,
We just dove in.
We're like, let's just do this, and then we thought too hard about it for too long, and then we're like, you know what, just freaking launch the thing.
We're both researchers. I'll research, she'll read to death, and we just like
Overanalyze. I'm like,
information overload.
I can't do it anymore. Let's just do it, okay? Who cares?
It was just like, what's the best equipment? How should we go about this? How should we do this? And
What are the
it was just like,
analytics? And I'm all about numbers. I'm like, what do the analytics say? And anyway.
it got to the point where it was just like, fuck it, just do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
But that's
it's,
so powerful.
evolving as it goes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, exactly. You could really get in your own way if you research and you read way too much because you want it to be perfect. I think one of the wonderful things that has come out of Ticket2Blog for me is that Gemma is a doer. She's about the numbers, but she's also about like, let's just do it. She's, even if it's not going to be perfect, let's just push it out. Let's just publish it. Let's just whatever. Who really cares? And I'm like, oh no, but it's a precious baby and needs to be polished and painted. I need to.
That's
love
how I
it
am, and that's how she is. And I'm like, no, well, but wait a minute. Let me go and research the 10 reasons why. I know it myself sometimes. I'm like,
And I'd be side-eyeing, like, whatever, Francis. Just make sure we
Exactly.
pull that goddamn trigger by this time, please.
Yes, like you either need to be each other. I think you need to just be each other's sort of voice of like, stop it, put it down.
It's
relax.
definitely a yin and yang. That's the best thing about having a co-host is like you just work off of each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm the little crazy carefree one, and she's but let's just reel this in and let's get the information. And that's great for our listeners because she comes from a practical sense. I come from a hey, get your ticket and come on. You know what I mean?
You need that mix. I mean, you'll both bring in different voices, different flavors that a wider variety of people will latch onto, which is really good. And then, I mean, I almost wish there was like a podcast about like what it is to make a podcast, which I'm sure exists because like podcasts out there these days. But like, it's hard to portray to people like how much podcasters learn when they're creating their own podcasts. Like how much you folks I'm sure have learned about yourselves, about your working habits, and when you have a co-host, it's like they're a mirror to you. Like you don't realize how much of a perfectionist you are. Well, for me, I didn't realize how much of a perfectionist I was until Gemma was like, calm down. You're being crazy right now. I was like, oh my God, I'm being crazy right now. No one has ever told me that this is wild. I really have a co-host in life. Like, this is cool. But anyway, we stumbled into that and just started, like you said, we just started pulling the trigger, just started going for it and putting out episodes that we thought were interesting, having conversations that we thought were interesting, and people started just following on and becoming fans.
Yeah, it's really good, and what's great about it, not only because your two personalities work off of each other, the no BS kind of like, listen, okay, you don't know, you may know, just do it kind of thing, but it's really practical advice if you're looking to head in that industry, the blogging world, the freelancing, all that stuff. So I love it, and I recommend anyone who wants to do that to really check it out. I've gotten a lot of nuggets off of it, so.
Thank you so much.
Tune in for Francis's blog.
Hey.
I'm joking.
No,
first, you look like a rapper. I was like, is she about to spit bars or something? I'm like,
it's
stop
gonna
it.
have us play a Cardi B with Namaste
That's
mixed
my
in.
girl. Okay. Anyway,
Oh my gosh.
I'm on that Cardi B wagon. But anyway, that's just another
No.
conversation.
Let's give a moment to Cardi B because it's funny because we spent the last month in Ubud, but I was listening to Invasion of Privacy non-stop in my headphones, and like putting Ubud next to Invasion of Privacy is so funny.
I bet.
It's just like calmness, namaste, and in my head she's like, and I'm like,
money bag.
Yeah, exactly. Knock down 9 times, but I get up 10. And everyone around me is just like, namaste.
Oh,
listen,
girl,
though.
this is crazy, right? So check this out. So the morning routine for this one over here, and I'm sorry for throwing it out here. She'd be like, okay, I got to meditate. She'll be in her room meditating for a little while. The next thing you know, she'd be like, good morning. And it's Cardi going on in the background. I'd be like,
yo, if you want some inspiration, Cardi B is like the ratchet Beyonce. If you want some inspiration, Cardi B be like, yo, go out there and go get this money, or go out there and just make your dreams come true. No, if you listen to the lyrics, that's really what she's saying. Don't let anybody stop your hustle. And I get pumped. I'm like, all right, yeah, I can do this. I can, it's just it's my little motivation,
as she's getting ready for the gym, she'd be like, and then she'd be at the gym like, yeah.
I mean, into your head. That's why I love Cardi B so much. She's hugely motivational because she's honest about like, I used to be a stripper. People think that I was a prostitute. I wasn't, but I had to do what I had to do, and here I am. Like, I love that she's just like, I don't know, I'm just out here taking pictures with Beyonce. Isn't it crazy? Like, I made this. You're just like, I can make something out of myself too. Like she's like a cheerleader in a way. It's funny to hear that other people are in different corners of the world, even if you're in like quiet, beautiful Thailand or quiet, beautiful Ubud, that we're in like our homestays in the corner of our rooms, like cramping to ourselves.
Can you do that one more time? Oh my God.
I can't even do it right. She shoot her shot. She shooted her shot though, right?
She
shot her shot.
She shot her shot.
Shot her shot for years, over and over. And she's in the spotlight, and you can't help but be inspired by somebody like that, which is why I crump for her. I crump for her in my soul anytime that I can.
Same.
So the message, this podcast today is going to be called "Shoot Your Shot."
Yep. Shoot your shot,
because that's the message. I mean, you want to pay off your student loan, shoot your shot and go for it, right? You want to meet your mentor or somebody that you really admire, shoot your shot. You got a crush on somebody,
shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot. You want to leave the U.S. and come abroad,
shoot your shot and give us a call.
Shoot your shot. Yes, absolutely. I mean, we're at a unique time in our lives as young people that you can shoot your shot, and if it goes terribly, you can still recover. If it goes terribly, hopefully you've got like great friends and loved ones who can like rub you on the back and be like, you shot your shot. It's cool. You're fine. And I would say, I mean, it's sort of the bias of having done it. I'm sure you folks feel the same way. Like 9 times out of 10, you shoot your shot and something amazing happens. Sometimes it's not even what you thought it would be.
Yeah.
But something incredible happens just because you decided to like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to pull the trigger. Let's see what happens.
And sometimes you dodge the bullet. Because you think you want something, and then you go for it, and you're like, this isn't what I really want.
Never mind. But if you never shot your shot, you would have never known.
Yeah. Exactly. Shooting your shot is about taking action either way, because that moves your life forward. So I love that as a title. I agree. Cosign.
She said cosign.
So with all of these wonderful things going on, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next is we are going to leave Singapore in a couple of days. One, because this was just a visa run. We had to leave Bali every 30 days and then come back. So, and also, I can't live in Singapore. It's way too expensive. Unless I lived in this, like, scary space pod for the rest of my life. Like, I gotta go. What's next is we're going back to Bali for a couple of weeks to do the outer islands. Everyone keeps talking about these beautiful, smaller outer islands that are really great just for beaching and relaxing.
You going to Gili?
I'm going to, yes, Gili Air and Lombok, which those are supposed to be the, like, you have to, must see it.
I spent 3 weeks in Gili T.
I was in Gili Mino.
Really?
Yeah.
But they're very close to each other.
Very close. You can do all three, actually.
Yeah.
Cool. Because what I've been hearing a lot, too, is, I don't know if this doesn't have to be part of the podcast, but I've been hearing a lot that, like, you can spend a few days there, but it's really small and it gets boring, so you should hop around. So we're going to try to do that for a couple of weeks, see how long it takes before we're city people, so we're like, we might want to be somewhere.
Then you want to be on
Gili T. Yeah, Gili Mino does absolutely nothing to do. It's if you want complete like silence and seclusion and
so stay on Gili T, eat, party, and all that kind of stuff, and then go over to Gili Mino and go Gili Air
and just relax
for
a little bit.
Relaxation.
Yeah,
and check out Nusa Penida.
Oh yeah,
check out Ahmad.
Oh, we just came from Anat. Oh my God. The snorkeling there was, that's what made us go like, we gotta keep going. Like we have to go look at all these smaller islands. We'll see how long we last there. Of course, we still haven't planned that part out yet. We're just gonna show up. And, but the plan after that is to go to Vietnam. And we've been really loving staying in one more central place and kind of taking day trips out from there, but having like a month of just staying in one spot.
Slow travel.
And like slow travel, exactly that. We're really finding that that's our vibe. We did not travel slowly in New Zealand. It was like every 12 hours we were in a different place. And at the end of it, we had lots of stories, but no energy and no like way to recollect or process what happened. So hopefully Vietnam, somewhere in Vietnam for a solid month, and then travel around there. And that's all the plans we have so far.
I love it.
Just do you, boo.
Yeah, I mean, we need to plan out the next 20 years.
Yes, exactly. Again, the mapper in my head, I'm like, shut up. You're going to ruin it for me.
He's like, get out of here.
Yeah, take a vacation. God.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that you're going to chronicle the rest of your journeys. because you have a very exciting like life. That's actually kind of dope. And you're not doing it the traditional way, right? Of the backpacker sense. You have a partner who you're kind of rolling with, and a lot of people do it as a solo traveler. So it's kind of cool to see I would say the dynamic between you two.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you learn. I mean, you learn so much about a person when you travel. So much, and you get to all the ends of the spectrum of just like, I hate this and I hate you, and like, oh my God, I couldn't live without you. This is crazy. And you sort of find a fun medium balance. But I'm so grateful to have him around to balance me out. And the poor thing has to listen to my Cardi B crumping. He has to listen to my talking myself down from being a planner, like just all of it. But
he looks like he looks like he just shoots the shit with you. He's just like, just gonna roll with it. All right,
he just goes with it. Yeah. Yeah, in my last Felicia's wallet video, I had to film it in the car, and he was like, I'll just be here. And I don't know if you could see him in the corner in the back, like reading his Kindle. Just like, babe, just do you. I'm gonna put my head, he has his earplugs. He's like, I'm gonna do that. You just do me, and just whatever. He rolls with it.
Yeah.
Good travel partner.
It's hard to travel with somebody who has like that anxious energy all the time. It's nice to have somebody who has a more subdued,
It just makes it easier.
Yeah.
So
because
much
you both
easier.
can't be on 10.
Both can't be on 10. Like, I'd be like, what do we do? You both can't.
Yeah. You'd be building off of each other. It's so funny that the family that we're staying with in Bali right now, the wife, her name is Ani, we've been with her for like 3 or 4 weeks, and the other day we're alone in the room, she looks at me and she's like, so Peter is very calm for you, isn't he? And I was like, yeah. What are you saying? Yeah. And she's like, that's really good. When you meet his family, do they just sit there and listen to you? Because you have so many stories. Yes.
I love it.
Exactly.
Oh, the honesty.
Yeah, that's the honesty. Awesome. I was like, ooh, I feel that. There's the Balinese honesty right into my heart. She was like, it's good that Peter is calm for you. I was like, you're kind of throwing shade at the fact that I'm crazy, but I get it, and I love it, and I respect it. It's totally true.
That's what's up.
So let me ask you, now that you've traveled for work and everything else, and now you're kind of doing the slow travel, anything that's kind of like shocked you since doing it this way versus the way you've done it in the past?
Yes. So if you can't tell, I'm a very energetic person. I'm just it's really
what?
subtle. I think really keep it on the down low sometimes. And then when I start, Cardi B turns on, and it makes it really obvious. I have a lot of energy, and I've always thought of myself as a person with like endless, boundless energy. And I was always so inspired by people who are like, I traveled to 84 countries in 15 minutes, and I was like, I want to do that too. And then we went around New Zealand for 3 months, going somewhere every like 12 hours to 3 days, and I was exhausted all the time. I was so surprised with how much rest I actually really did need. And not so much how much energy I don't have, but how little I give myself rest, and how little I take care of myself. I think that like this energy is something I have to live up to, and really like I'm a human being that needs to like be plugged in and recharged a lot, especially when you're traveling, because like you said, traveling is a million zillion decisions all day long, and that's tiring. And so it's really surprised me how much I actually need to care for myself on the road, and how much I need to go, you know what, that like death drop Ferris wheel that's 14 cents in Bali sounds cool, but give me like 3 days to recuperate before I do something crazy like that. Like, I do need to sit down. I'm not going to go out for drinks. I'm not going to go on this crazy adventure. Like I need to rest as much as I did, probably more than I did when I'm home. That's been very surprising for me. I don't know if you folks have found that as well.
Oh, girl, I have no fucking FOMO. Do you understand? I used to have
She'd be like, I see you guys, like last night, we're like, we're going to walk the strip. It's like, okay, see ya. I was like, okay.
I used to have a fear of missing out. So every time I was invited someplace, I used to be like, okay, I have this person's thing. I got to go here. I got to go there. And now I just be like, girl, bye. Bye, Felicia. I ain't got Felicia's wallet. No FOMO here.
Yeah, that's good. But because FOMO can exhaust you. Like that's what I found. I think in the first 3 months is like wanting to go out and inhale the world all at once is awesome. You need that energy to travel for sure. but it's also so important to tell yourself, like, but do I care about that? No. You know what I want to do? Lay in my bed and watch Netflix for 3 days. And there's a weird sort of guilt that comes with that when you're traveling.
Cool, girl. And eat some Doritos.
Yes. And
You're taking her back to like last week.
We're describing her actual weekend.
Yeah, this is like real live footage.
I love it. You know, you have to set boundaries. You got to be like, you know what? I'm only going to do this X amount of time, but I need to take time to do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is for me.
It's interesting because like I got to Chiang Mai, and I've lived in Thailand before. I got to Chiang Mai, and I've like never left the house. I'm enjoying the fact that I'm not because I was living in Japan, and I was in this tiny apartment, and I'm like, I got this big king size bed now with this big house with ceilings. I'm just enjoying just being there.
Yeah.
I just haven't done anything. Everyone's like, oh, you've gone here. I'm like, no.
Nope.
I'm all right.
Nope, not at all.
I got a year.
And yeah, exactly. That's the pressure we're talking about, is like when you're there. And it's also sort of built-in pressure from having vacationed your whole life, is like, what are the 45 things I could fit in today? And I have to do it now. And then tomorrow there's 46 things. We're just going to go hard. And you want to give yourself those 3 days, but there was like the running track in my head that's like, but you're in New Zealand. Like, why are you sitting and watching Netflix? You can do that at home. Like, boo, come on, there's mountains to climb and there's glaciers to touch. You have to teach yourself how to get rid of that voice as well. I'm just like, no, but my bones in here wants to binge watch Netflix, so I'm gonna go obey that real quick.
And New Zealand isn't going anywhere.
No.
I tell people all the time, you can always go back. There's plenty of places that I've been still, because people hit us up all the time, and I'm just like, yo, I don't have this thing figured out. You know, we went to Krabi, and I totally would go back and do it differently. Every time we leave a place, we're like, we could have did that differently.
Yeah.
Because you fall into the whole, let's go, you know, you're online looking for the best places, and come to find out all those places are very touristy.
Yes.
So we leave not feeling fulfilled. And being in a place like this where it's just quiet, it's surrounded by greenery and cows, you know, it's just like, I'm living my best life right now. That's all I need. I'm chill.
That's all you need. Exactly. It takes a while to get to that place where you're like, that's the pace that you'd like to set for me, world. This is my pace.
Yeah.
That's been the sort of a really surprising journey for me, of like, even I have my own expectations of what my pace was supposed to be, and climbing down from that has been surprising as well. Of like, you actually can't sustain that for too long. You need to calm down. Like,
Yeah.
Calm down.
Got it.
Hugely.
So originally you guys were only going to travel for a year. Is that still kind of like, are you coming up on that year?
The year actually doesn't come up until next January. We left the beginning of January this year, and the plan was to always come back for the holidays, like come back to the States and see our family for Thanksgiving and Christmas, recharge, just lay up in bed and watch Netflix for a while, probably. God, we love Netflix. And then hopefully go back out and travel next January. And it's looking like we're going to do that, because what we want to do is we're doing sort of all of Asia, Southeast Asia, and going up to Japan this year. And then Peter's never been to Europe, so we really want to do Europe next year. And it's looking more likely now because I'm starting to get some freelance work and starting to make a little bit of money while on the road, where, you know, previously it was like, all right, we have the savings, it's a balloon, and we're just going to slowly deflate it for the next year and just piss money out little by little. And now we're starting to put money back in that pot, which is nice. So it's looking like we'll be extending our travel a little bit past a year, hopefully more.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to actually seeing all that go down. Hopefully we can connect some way, somehow, since we are here.
Manifest,
make it happen. We'd love
we live
to
in
hang out with
Thailand,
you guys. So
come on and visit.
Yeah.
Yes, it's on the way, actually. I mean, we're planning on doing maybe Vietnam, Cambodia, potentially Thailand. Peter lived in Thailand for a while, so he would want to go back. I would love to find you guys out there and just like hug and we can watch Netflix together and not
all day
feel
long.
shamed.
Yeah.
And eat Doritos.
Yeah.
And be like,
that's what
do you guys want to go out? No.
No.
Why? Why would we want to do that?
Sounds
So,
terrible.
Berna, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Can you tell us, you know, what would you say to folks who want to do exactly what you do, pay off the debt, travel for a year? What kind of advice would you give them?
Shoot your shot.
Yes. Number one, definitely shoot your shot. Though that's a lot easier said than done. So I think 1.5 to that would be nice to yourself.
Yeah.
Be honest be honest and be open with the things that you feel. Are you scared? Sit and be scared. You have every right to be scared. Is it intimidating? Great. Sit and think about how intimidating it is, because you have every right to be intimidated by a scary thing. I think the danger in telling people to shoot their shot is making people feel like they shouldn't be afraid. Be afraid. Understand that you're scared because you're about to do something outside of your comfort zone, but become friends with it. Like, walk with it. Understand that it's part of the process. I was scared too. I'm sure you guys were scared right before you jumped off and did your thing.
For sure.
And be nice to yourself while you're scared. You know, go slowly and let the people in your life know that you're doing this scary thing so they can support you. Because shooting your shot doesn't have to be this crazy jumping off a cliff thing. It could also be a awesome and gentle and comforting learning experience for yourself.
Yeah. That's good advice. Thank you.
I love that.
It doesn't have to be a slam dunk, right? It could be a layup.
Yep.
Yes. It could be a layup.
You like that
it could
reference?
be just,
I kind of like that. That was, usually you're not that witty, but I like that. I'm kidding.
that was cool.
I'm kidding. Damn, that was like a punch.
She just knows how to go and just rip it. She'd be like, nope.
It's a focus thing. Again, it's a yin and yang. You're up here. She's going to come bring you down here. It's a dance.
I do have one last question.
Yes.
Because from listening to you and observing you, you have a bit of a potty mouth. So I'd like to know what your... I need you to stop. I'd like to know what your favorite curse word is.
Oh my gosh. So many curse words have just like gone across my head like a banner. It's like they're like fireworks in my head.
Which one is speaking to you? It's like the crystal.
Which one are you trying?
Just reach up and grab one.
Right now I'm like, find me favorite curse word. Like, come into my soul. Oh, let's see. I don't. Let me find it. The one that's coming to my head right now is balls, which isn't even really a curse word. It's just like, or balls and like ball sack, which is funny because I don't have either of those things.
That's so funny. I
But-
say that too. I always say it's hot as balls. I be like, it's hot as ball sacks, and I don't know what
I
that
say
means.
it's hot
I don't
as
have
balls.
I don't even have balls, but maybe it has to do with the fact that it's like taking that word for myself, because balls and ball sack means it tends to personify like strength or whatever. I'm like, whatever. I'll own the word too. I have balls.
Well, do you
I have
add
ball
it
sack.
to like amaze balls or
I love saying that. That's fine.
yeah, like, or do you just say balls?
I'll say both. So I'll be like, it's hot as balls, I'm tired as balls, it's expensive as balls. Or sometimes I'll just be fresh and be like, oh, ball sack. That's ball sack. Honestly, like, how much is that? That's ball sack. It doesn't have to be a positive, strong thing. It could also just be like, the word ball sack just seems so like, when you think about a ball sack, it's just like,
It just hangs there. You be like, fuck it.
hangs. It's sort of sad looking. Anatomically, they're not strong things. I don't know why we associate balls with.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
So I'm just like, man, that deal with ball sack. I'm not gonna buy that.
That was funny. That's the first I've ever heard that.
That's a new one. See, this is why I like asking. I love, because you never know. You just like threw us a curveball, and
Yeah,
that's great.
The F word is usually like, the F word is on top
F word is on top.
because you can use
Now-
it for it's so versatile.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the first firework, but I was like, there's got to be something else in there. Like, if I'm being real to the balls in me, what is like, what's in there? What's the balls? What's the soul ball sack trying to tell me?
I like the
There
rub.
you go.
So Berna, where can people find you? You have an amazing IG and you have an amazing community there. If you'd like to share your social handles.
Yes. My website is heyberna.com. My YouTube is.
I'm sorry, Berna. Can you do that one more time? Because I think my battery for some reason is dying, so it's slowing down the video. Just give us your
that
social
Mac?
handle. No, it's
Oh,
not
yeah, so-
plugged. Oh no.
Do you want to go plug that? in?
Yeah, because the plug
She has to go handle some business over here.
The plug can stay. That's really.
Because, you know,
Oh.
you know how people have iPhones and Macs and the cords are always fucked up.
Yes.
You can see, like, that's the same thing.
The
This cord is
frame.
just jacked up.
It's like coming apart, like frayed and sad and scary. I
It's
get that.
always. I'm like, what do y'all be doing? Chewing on your cords?
But then you refuse to let it go. Like, you're like, no, I'm gonna stick with this. I could buy a new
Exactly.
one.
I'm PC girl and I'm a team Android, so I just be talking mad shit about the iPhone users.
Dude.
Okay, Berna. Okay, so Berna, she's back.
PCs suck. Anyway, how many times have you had to change your PC? I've had my Mac for like 5 years.
Yes, I went from Mac to PC right before this trip. And my boyfriend's PC and Android. He's like, oh, welcome to the family. You're going to love this. Your life's going to be different. I miss my Mac so much.
I bet.
Oh.
I don't know how
I could buy 2 PCs
I don't know how
for the
you
price
did
of
that.
1 Mac.
Yeah, but then you'll buy it again because I've had so many laptops.
Your Mac is
I'm
5 years old. It's a dinosaur.
It works perfectly.
after,
I guarantee after a year, this thing, I guarantee.
I'm ready to go. Like, when I go home, I'm going to be like, everybody, what I'm on my Dell. Please.
Okay,
All
so
right.
Berna, how can our listeners find you on this World Wide Web?
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at HeyBerna. Hey, HeyBerna. Oh, hey. I'm on YouTube, HeyBerna as well. YouTube.com/HeyBerna. I'm on Facebook, HeyBerna. And our podcast is Ticket2Blog with the number 2. That can be found on all of those channels.
And we will have all of those handles on show. Damn it. Show
Thank
notes.
God for editors. Lord. This is what I got to deal with. That's why it takes so long.
It's so funny to go through and be like, we were tired. Nope, cut that out. That was weird. That was
Like,
weird.
why'd you say that?
Girl. It is, 9 a.m. here?
Yeah.
I haven't had my tea yet.
Oh, whatever
Have
that
the
means.
tea. Have the tea. Have the tea. Have the meditation. Have the Cardi B dance workout.
Exactly. But thank you
so
so
much,
much.
Berna. This was so fun. We do hope we connect at some point, and we'd love to hang out with you guys.
Yes. Thank you so much for
And do some Cardi
interviewing me.
Crump.
Cardi Crump. Oh, can you make that a hashtag? Oh my God, look at this. This would be such a good boomerang. This is why we need a photographer. Just that together would have been so beautiful. We'll come to you. I'll come to Thailand. We'll Cardi Crump together.
Yes.
Awesome. Y'all heard it first on Chronicles Abroad. Miss Hey Berna herself is going to be coming to Chiang Mai, and we're going to Cardi Crump.
Cardi B Crunk. Say the full name, B.
Cardi B Crump. You're right. She didn't do all that work on her face. Have to get her name cut off. She's Cardi B. Sorry, Queen.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much.